Good evening, folks. I am your host, Jack Remington of Jack Remington Political Analyst. Today we will talk about where we stand in the Democratic nomination race for President 2020. Retired Vice President Joe Biden has accomplished a feat no one saw coming. He won the majority of the states this past Super Tuesday. It sure seemed like the fourth down and 50 yards to go to get that game-saving touchdown to stay in the game, but Joe Biden did just that. Joe Biden is the current front-runner ahead of Vermont Senator Bernie Sanders. Joe Biden has 565 pledged delegates versus Bernie Sanders' 506 delegates. To get that nomination for the Democrat Party, the candidate needs 1,191 pledged delegates. The upcoming primary is going to be on Tuesday, March the 10th, and the big coveted prizes are the states of Michigan's 125 delegates, followed by Washington State's 89 delegates, then Missouri's 68 delegates. A few other states and protectorates have only a few delegates and won't get much attention. Senator Elizabeth Warren dropped out of the race 3 days ago. Recent dropped-out candidates Mayor Pete of South Bend, Indiana, New York City Mayor Mike Bloomberg, and Senator Amy Klobuchar of Minnesota had all pledged their support and delegates to retired Vice President Joe Biden. Conclusion to date. Yes, this is a race once more. Joe Biden revived his comeback from the dead by skipping Nevada, which was the third primary, and headed straight for South Carolina, the fourth primary contest, and that calculation paid off handsomely for Joe Biden. Joe Biden needed the black American voters, the ones that voted for his former boss, Barack Obama. Biden started picking up desperately needed endorsements, starting with Jim Clyburn of South Carolina. Jim Clyburn is the Democratic Majority Whip, the highest African American ranking member of the current Congress. The fact that we have a fractured Democrat Party with the two frontrunners soaking up the pledged delegates, we can still get that broker convention where no candidate gets the ballot the first round at the convention. But if Joe Biden pulls away next week with big wins in Michigan and Missouri, that will put Joe Biden in the driver's seat. We may not get the broker convention. However, if we still do get that broker convention, it heavily favors Joe Biden anyway, as everyone knows that Joe Biden was the hand-picked candidate by the DNC since this election cycle started. Had Bernie Sanders kept barreling his way to the nomination after his wins in Iowa and New Hampshire, the fear that the DNC had would be that the House and Senate losses in the downvote ballot. Bernie Sanders, being the avowed socialist candidate, does not fly well in the conservative parts of America, and the DNC smelled a huge hemorrhaging of seats, similar to the George McGovern loss, who only won one state versus the re-election of Richard Nixon back in 1972. Predictions including March 10th primary, I correctly predicted that Joe Biden would give Bernie Sanders the beatdown in South Carolina, and he did just that. I also correctly predicted that Bernie Sanders would romp and stomp and beat the field in California because of his promises of amnesty for all illegal aliens and recently added the free daycare for illegal aliens. I will go out on a limb here and I will predict that Joe Biden will win both Michigan and Missouri somewhat convincingly, getting him way over 700 total delegates, but Bernie Sanders will win Washington State handily. Washington State is known for a large Hispanic population, and the majority of them are a one-issue vote, amnesty for their parents and their relatives and friends. I will also go out on a limb here and predict that Senator Elizabeth Warren will eventually ally herself to Joe Biden and not Bernie Sanders. Yes, her ideology is closer to Bernie by a significant margin versus Joe Biden, but Warren is a calculating politician. She can see Biden's surging momentum. Warren also knows she may face criticism if she does not back Bernie, but that's not going to matter to her. Elizabeth Warren is not the last woman standing. Tulsi Gabbard is still in the race, but she would need a total collapse of both Bernie Sanders and Joe Biden to get back in the race, and would still probably lead to the broker convention because they would have a hard time getting 1,191 delegates. What is in it for Elizabeth Warren? The possible VP slot on the Dem ticket. But remember when Warren tried that weak sexist claim against Bernie Sanders a while back? They sure gave the appearance that she was trying to take down the then frontrunner, which was Bernie Sanders. I find it hard to believe that Sanders would forget about that and continue to trust Warren and offer her the VP slot. But Joe Biden, on the other hand, has no such animosity against Warren and vice versa, despite policy term differences when she was on the Consumer Protection Committees 2 decades ago and Joe Biden was in the Senate. I can see Biden extending that coveted VP slot to Warren, but I also can see Joe Biden asking Amy Klobuchar for that VP slot as well. Klobuchar is a great choice to gather solidarity in the Midwest that the Democrats will need in November against Donald Trump. I am sure we will get the answer from Elizabeth Warren before the next primary, which is Tuesday, March the 10th. Always a great day to be an American. Please subscribe and comment below. Thanks.